Hey guys, this is Josh Flagg, and this is my boyfriend Andrew Byer, and we are going to answer some really incredible questions today. Uh, I just completed my third book, and it is available now for sale. Um, the deal is an incredible book. It is based off of 18 years of selling high-end residential real estate, and it is all of the fun stories from my career. And it's not your normal how-to book where it's just this is how you sell houses. This is how it's nothing boring like that. It's an easy read. It's fun. It applies to anybody who wants to be in the sales industry, not just somebody who wants to be in real estate, although it is very real estate heavy. So I'm going to have Andrew moderate this today. Say hi, Andrew.
Hi, guys.
So let's see, how should we start?
Well, do you want to first tell them what inspired you to write it?
Sure. So what inspired me to write the book was that over the years, I've read many of these books that I thought were very boring. I thought they were just nothing interesting, and I thought that they were probably all written by a ghostwriter, to be honest with you. I thought, let's take real life examples from selling houses for the last 18 years. So I took a whole list of all the houses I've ever sold. I highlighted the best ones, the ones that had the best lessons, the best stories, the most interesting topics, and quite a lot of humor. And then we compiled them all into this book of incredible stories and examples. And we came up with something that was really, really good.
Okay, should we jump into
Yeah,
questions?
let's jump in.
Let's jump in. Okay, Connor from New York. What's the hardest yet most critical lesson you've learned in your career?
I would say the hardest and maybe most critical lesson that I've learned in my career is that when I started in the business, I was very cocky and very arrogant, and I thought that I was the king of the world, and I didn't realize that I was just starting. And I would say that you want look, buyers, they come and they go, sellers, they come and they go, but the agents that you work with in the industry are there forever. They're not moving, or they're not changing, rather. So you have to keep really good relationships with the brokers, and it took me a lot of time to repair those relationships because I was so aggressive and so eager and so cocky. And I did repair it, but I realized that I was going in way too fast, and I just needed to be a little bit more humble. And I would say that when you make that first sale and you feel like you're the king, just be a little bit more humble and try to keep really good relationships with the people that you're working with.
Is there a key takeaway you want your readers to gain?
I would say that what I want people to retain from this book is this. A lot of people think they're going to just jump into real estate and they're going to start making money. It doesn't work like that. And this is not the right business for some people. I think for the investment in buying this book, it'll save you a lot of money if you realize that this is not the right industry or this is not the business for you. I think after you read the book, you'll realize, oh, I can totally do this. This is me. This is my passion. Or you'll say, this is not for me. And I think that.
And for any salesperson, honestly.
Well, and for any salesperson,
Yeah.
of course. I think that this is a really important and a crucial book to read. And I think that the small investment for a book will save you a lot of money or make you a lot of money down the line.
What's your advice to women in the workplace?
Well, I'm not a woman in the workplace, so I don't really have much to. I can't really tell you that much, but I can tell you that. Well, that's kind of hard for me to answer because I'm not a woman. But I would assume I think that it should be just as easy for a woman as it is for a man, and I don't think there's much difference. I think there's most of my competition actually are women, believe it or not. I would say it's 70% of the top brokers in town are women. So I don't know if that helps.
Growing up, what did you want to do when you were older, and how did you start out your career?
Well, I started out wanting to be an architect, and I realized after a while that I didn't want to have a career later where I'm building and designing houses for other people and having to deal with their complaints I really wanted to just do that for myself. So I scratched that one off the table. And then I wanted to become a theatrical agent. And Fred Savage, who was a friend of my sister at the time, is the one who said, you should really be a talent agent. You'd be great. So I had a subscription for Variety magazine, and they started coming to the house. One would come and two would come, and by the time there was 100 of them, I never opened them. So, my uncle, who was at William Morris at the time, said to me, this is ridiculous. You haven't even opened one of these. You're not going to be in the talent. And frankly, that's true. I really could care less about that industry. So then I was like, okay, I love people. We know that. I love houses. I love design. We know that. Why don't I get into a business where I can get involved with houses and people? So what do? You get real estate agent.
And then how did talk about starting out your career a little bit.
So I
how
started
you
out my
jumped in.
career. Sure, I started out my career for a guy named Bruce Nelson, who in his time was the king of high-end residential real estate in Beverly Hills. He was selling a house of a friend of mine's parents, and I asked to intern for him. And so I interned for him for a couple of years. And by the time I was 19, I got my real estate license, and I got out in the field and started selling houses myself.
And that's a story in the book, actually.
And that is a story in the book.
What's one thing about real estate you wish you knew early on? Advice for someone starting out.
I think it goes back again to that point that I made about keeping good relationships with other brokers. I wish I would have known that in the beginning. I wish I didn't. I really was of the mindset or was taught that, it's a shark. It's a shark, whatever you call it out there. It's like, everyone's just got to go and try and see and get every single deal you can. But I didn't realize that you have to preserve those relationships with the brokers.
Right. What made you first do the show, and what's your favorite memory about filming?
Well, I started the show because the show has been on for about 15 years. It would be 14 seasons, but probably 15 years. I would say that I saw this show. It was on. It had 10 agents on it. They were. It was a good show,
Were there
but
10
it was
agents on it?
yeah, something like that. Maybe 8, 10 agents. I think it was
Season 1, you mean?
season 1. This is in 2000 and 2006, something like that. And it was good, but I was not as good as I knew it could be. And so I called up World of Wonder, who's the production company for the show, got an interview. They videotaped me, and then season 2 came on, and it was me and 2 other characters, and it was not. It was a totally differently formatted show. And although I'm the youngest person on $1 Million Listing, as well as the entire franchise, I'm the longest. I've been on the cast longer than anybody. So I've been doing this since season 2, and it's been a ball.
What's been a highlight or a pinch me moment in your career?
A highlight or a pinch me moment? A highlight in my career are probably some of the record-breaking sales that I've made. Selling the most expensive property in the flats of Beverly Hills, selling the largest property in the flats of Beverly Hills,
Probably selling more houses in the flats than anyone.
selling more houses in the flats than anybody. Probably just the record-breaking sales that I've made. Low point moments, I guess, I don't know, that happens. Look, I learn all the time. I mean, you win some deals, you lose some deals. I guess the deals that I didn't make, but every time I come home and I take away something and I learn it and I try to change it for the next one and not repeat the same mistake.
What do you like to do outside of work?
Travel. Travel is my passion. Andrew and I like to travel. I love art. I love interior design, and I love travel and hotels. Those are really my passions.
We do love hotels a little too much.
Yes.
In what way would you encourage a young entrepreneur?
I would encourage a young entrepreneur to shadow somebody in whatever industry it is, but let's take the real estate industry. Shadow somebody who's established, well-liked, has connections, is making lots of deals. And even if you don't get paid for the job, I would shadow that person and learn, because you're going to get a better education that way than any class that you take or any college you go to.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even go to college, which is, by the way, not great for some people, but for some people that's the best thing ever. I got a 4-year head start by not having to go to college, and I'm not encouraging people not to go to college, but it's either for some, it's if this is your passion and you know that you're going to be a broker, and I say start early. I say don't waste those 4 years.
You don't need a degree.
What?
You don't need a
No,
degree to be a broker.
No, you certainly don't.
What's your favorite hotel you've been to?
Oh my God, I mean, my favorite hotel there's a couple of them. I mean, Hotel du Cap is for sure my happy place. The Four Seasons in Maui is like my happy place. Andrew and I were just in Bali at the Bulgari Hotel, which I thought was incredible. The George Cinq in Paris, the Ritz in Paris. There's so many. It depends on really what you're looking for. Definitely try the Bulgari Hotel. It's incredible.
This is funny. Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Oh, that's a good question. Who would I want to play me? I don't know. Do you have any idea on that one? I really never thought about that before.
I know no actors.
Yeah, I don't know any actors.
I assume this was your first job, right?
What? This?
Yeah.
This is the only job I've ever had.
Yeah. What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear would be losing you.
Oh, I love you.
Where?
Sweet. Where did you write the book?
I believe it or not, I wrote the majority of the book in a suite at the Peninsula, Chicago.
The whole thing? Or you started it there?
Over a 3-day period of time, I cooped myself up in there, and that's where I did the majority of it.
And how'd you do it? Did you just start typing?
Going through all of my sales, going through stories, starting writing down notes, putting things. That's how, like, the last 3 books I've done. I organize things by topics, then I look at what I write, and then I start typing and freehand and just let it flow, and then put it all together, and then we get it organized.
1 second. What was your favorite school subject?
History.
History. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Someone asked, what's your middle name?
Daniel.
Daniel. Do you have any guilty pleasures?
Caviar.
Fair. Who was the first person you told you were writing the book?
Well, that's really a good question. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't think I told many people. It wasn't like it's. I don't really. No, I honestly, I don't think I made a big deal. To me, it's like normal. Honestly, it's not like it wasn't a huge deal to write this book. I knew that I had a message to give, and I knew I could write something. I knew it, and I knew it would be a really good big seller because it's an interesting book. I didn't think to myself, who should I call first? And so I don't get excited until things are done. Once the book is out, then I get excited. Writing for the process of writing it is not something I'm super excited about. I just get it done.
Yeah. For someone just starting out in real estate, what's your take on joining a big team as opposed to being independent?
That's a tough one. Some people. I think if you're starting, you should probably join a team because there's synergy, there's energy. I think it's important. I don't think you should just start out on your own. Although that's what I essentially did. But it was a different time. It was a little bit different circumstances. I think that you should probably go where there's a lot of synergy, energy, and people around, and then you go on your own. Is what I say.
Mm-hmm. And I think that timeline is different for everyone.
Yeah, of course.
What's one of your proudest moments?
I don't know. Being honored by the Museum of the Holocaust, being honored by the Jewish Home for the Aging, anything probably charity related.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, 1 second. Where do you want to go that you've never been?
I've never been to Brazil, and there's parts of Africa that I've never been to. I've never been to Tanzania. I've never been to Kenya. I've never been to Nairobi, Ethiopia. I definitely would like to go to some of the countries in Africa. Places I'd like to go back again that I really, really loved are India. I'd love to go back to, South Africa, Botswana. I'd like to go back to Morocco. But I've been to about 70 countries, and I've pretty much been everywhere I want in the world. But now I'm going back I'm making return trips right now, and I'm bringing Andrew with me so he can see some of the places that I love that he's never been.
Can you predict the next top LA neighborhood?
That's the problem. Everything has been tapped out. There's no secret next up and coming place. Like there used to be things like that a couple of years ago, but everyone knows everything now. I mean, there's no hidden secrets anymore.
It's funny, someone asked if you're going to synagogue.
I am going to synagogue in about 20 minutes. I'm going there, and I will make a quick appearance, and I will be back.
If you guys want to ask questions here too, they're all popping up next to us, so feel free. Do you have any hidden talents?
None that I can discuss on here.
Jesus. Okay, while we wait for some more to come in, why don't you touch on just some more about the book and...
We have some questions. What it looks like. Shana Tova, thank you. Okay, great. Interesting, very interesting. No questions, just comments so far. Anyway, the show, when will it air again? Well, we're not really allowed to discuss that, but I think you'll hear some big news coming up in the next few months. Any advice on starting my real? Oh, that went too fast. I'd love to see you making a cooking show. Why would I do that? You definitely would not want me in the kitchen.
What would you make?
I literally. How's the real estate market in California compared to other places? I think the real estate market everywhere throughout the country is suffering right now, but the high end residential at least is pretty strong. Is it going to soften? Of course it's going to. Is it going to be a crash like it used to be? No, I don't think so. I think we're fine. I just think that things are going to slow down a little bit. Have I ever been to England? New England, yes, I have been to England and New England. New England is a beautiful place.
Everyone's talking about Edith.
Have I been to Lake Geneva? Oh, I've been to Geneva. I don't know if Lake Geneva is the same. I think that's somewhere in the United States.
Where would you live if you had to abandon the USA?
I'd probably go to England. Yeah, I'd go to England.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully alive. 5 years doing the same exact thing as I'm doing now, hopefully.
That's a good question. I guess an architect, if not real estate, what would your career be?
Interior design.
Interior design. Why haven't you started your own show?
No one's asked me to. Maybe that's next. Have I been to Portugal? Yes, I have been to Portugal. I've been to the coast. I've been to Lisbon. What would you recommend agents? Oh, we're going too fast. Shout out from Tennessee. Have you ever been to Tennessee? Yes, I've been to Nashville, and I have been to a place called what's that resort?
What's it called? The Blueberry?
Yeah, Blackberry
Blackberry
Farms.
Farms.
Blueberry Farms.
Blueberry Farms. Do you have any tips for buying your first piece of luxury real estate?
Yeah, I would say that don't just buy something to buy it. Like, take your time, wait for the perfect deal, and don't be too picky because nothing's ever perfect.
Someone wanted to see what shoes you're wearing.
There's black boots. Nothing special.
That's good. What's your perfect evening?
My perfect evening is going to dinner with Andrew, going to some of our favorite restaurants, or just hanging out maybe at the house. And not we're so booked every night. Sometimes it's nice to just have a night at home, which very rarely happens, to be honest with you. What's my favorite restaurant in LA?
Yeah, do you always go to the same places? Or
We're always at the Pole Lounge or the Bel Air Hotel or Matsuhisa for sushi or Mr. Chow.
We're pretty boring.
Craig's. Pretty much those are the 5 places. Have I ever been to PR? I don't know what PR is.
Puerto Rico, I think.
I've been to Costa Rica, not Puerto Rico. I've been to Russia, yes.
Someone asked what happens when you don't get the sale.
You don't get it, you don't get it. You try and find out why you didn't get it so you can learn from the mistake and not do it again.
I think it's important to not be personally offended.
Yeah. Where do I see mortgage rates in the next 6 to 12 months? Higher than they are now. But hopefully they just settle, though. Do I want children? One day, yes. Your favorite place to eat in Miami? Joe's Stone Crab. Or Carbone, maybe. I've never been to the Falling Waters House by Frank Lloyd Wright. I think it's in the middle. It's in the Midwest somewhere.
Okay, we have 10 more minutes. If you guys want to ask away.
Have I ever been to Holland? Yes, my dad was born in Holland, in a city called Deventer. I've been all over Holland. What's your advice to be a new real estate agent in LA? I think we covered that one. Yeah. Okay. Have you been to Lebanon? Actually, no, I have not been to Lebanon yet. That is one place I have not been yet. But I've been throughout the Middle East. Can you sell homes all over the world or just in LA? I'm only licensed in Los Angeles, so I would have to work with another broker to sell a house in another part of the country. Hello from Arizona. As market's down, is it time to buy it? So, interesting question would be, should I buy now or wait till the market settles a little bit? I would buy now because I'd rather have a lower interest payment than be able to brag to my friends in 6 months. Oh, look at what a great deal I got. I got such a better deal now and 6 months later than I did right now, because you're going to have the house for 10 years anyway. What's the difference? It's going to still go up in value. So I'd rather have the lower payment.
Right. Do you want to touch on one of your favorite stories in the book?
One of my favorite stories in the book, I think maybe I loved, I sold Betsy Bloomingdale's house. I loved meeting her the first time. I came over to the house. It was a Sunday. I thought she was going to be, it was very casual. No one was dressed. And, I come in and she's in almost like a flowing ball gown, and she's wearing jewelry and she's everything. And she's like, she's going to the Met Gala. And I'm like, where are you going? She's like, I don't know, just how I dress. And she said, she asked me if I'd like to have a cocktail on the veranda. And I thought to myself, you have a veranda? That's great. And I just fell in love with the woman.
What is the billion-dollar mindset?
$1 billion mindset is to make yourself act, or not act, not like, I don't mean like front, but put yourself in the mindset of a client that is a billionaire or a multi-gazillionaire, because they don't want to sense that you are selling them and you're hungry for the sale and you need to have the sale. You want them to feel that you're servicing them, you're doing the best thing that you can do for them, but you're not kissing their ass. And that's kind of what it is. And you're not desperate.
Should we read some more that are coming in?
Yeah, let's see. Hugs from Texas. We like Texas. I have friends in the world, travels 125 countries. Okay. Amazing person and wish you all the best. Like you, artist, part of celebrity. Which celebrity was the rudest? Oh my God, I've seen so many.
People call me weird. If I were rich, I'd be eccentric.
That's a great line. I use that line all the time. So if anyone has any other questions about chapters from the book or anything like that, please let us know. The book is available now. Amazon. It's available at Barnes and Nobles. Was my grandmother Hungarian? No, she was Romanian. Good morning from New Zealand. I was almost just going to go there, but we ended up going to Bali instead. Where would I like to retire? In LA. What are my comfort foods? I like Italian food and sushi, or steak. Would you recommend agents to do a shift? Recommend agents to. Hello, Josh from Michigan. Hello, Michigan.
Why don't you read the question? What would you recommend agents do with the new shift?
I think that agents, there's a lot, it's very interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of agents that get out of the business as the market shifts now. If you love it, you just got to realize you're going to have to work twice as hard and you might make half the amount of money. But if you love what you do and you're good at it, stick to it.
Do you have any tips on consistency?
Well, yeah. For instance, when I send a mailer out for properties, I don't send it like, if I say I just sold this house, I don't just send it to that neighborhood. And then if I sell in another neighborhood, send it to that neighborhood. People like to see consistency and repetitivity. So you have to keep going and doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again for it to literally register with the person looking at the mailer. So I always send to the same locations over and over and over again, almost to the point where it's annoying.
How often would you say you send a mailer to one neighborhood? Like every couple of months?
No, I think you got to send at least once a month.
Once a month.
So that people can and preferably twice a month, every 2 weeks.
You want to read some of these?
Thank you for your wisdom. Nice tip. Thank you. Hi, Josh. Love from Scotland. I like Scotland a lot. Rivalry is the rivalry real? Of course, the rivalry is real. Everything on my show is real. Yeah, I think we got some good questions right here. If anybody else has some really in-depth questions, we're happy to answer them. Which secret in the book were you not going to write down at first? I really was pretty transparent about everything. Hello from Greenwich, Connecticut. Did you write the book yourself? Of course. Would you do a book on your business? That's what this book is. Do you do a lot of social media type of marketing on a monthly basis like mailers? Social media, we're very consistent. We post everything that we have on the market. We post everything that we've sold, everything that I would do for mailers, email blasts, I would put on social media. Cartier or Rolex? Neither.
No comparison. Do you think you'll continue writing books?
Oh, of course. I have a very good plan for my next book, which I'm not going to share, but it's going to be a doozy.
Someone said maybe a memoir.
A memoir? Well, that's what this
That's kind
is.
of what this is.
Shalom from Israel. The book is in English as well as translated in other languages, yes. I have a waterfront property in Bay Point. Can I contact you? Yes, you can absolutely contact me, since it's a $13 million house. Yes. You can contact me at josh@joshflagg.com. Where do I and Frederick stand? We don't stand, we don't speak.
What was your main reason for writing the book?
My main reason for writing the book is I know that I have so many good stories and helpful tips that I can help people with over the years through these fantastic stories and just the knowledge I've gained. I've been doing this for 18 years. So I thought I'd like to share this, but in an entertaining way, not in one of those how-to books that just people fall asleep by. Hello from Pennsylvania. Well, thank you. Happy Yom Kippur to you as well. I'm on my way to Temple. I have lots to repent for.
Anything else?
I think we got it, guys.
You want to tell them where they can get the book?
Guys, you can get the book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. PremierCollectibles.com/Flagg.
And then
Signed copies are available on the link above.
share your Instagram handle too.
My Instagram handle is joshflagg1, and I think you should follow me because I don't know, I think I'm cool.
I think you're cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you follow me?
I follow you, yes.
Thanks.
Okay.
All right, guys, we got a
we're
good
good to go.
we got a good half an hour together. Go to PremierCollectibles.com/Flagg, and you'll get a signed copy of my book. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed writing it, and I think you will.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, this is John Acuff, New York Times best-selling author of 7 books and someone who's done a live signing. If you like the one you just watched, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's full of amazing authors having great conversations and signing books for viewers just like you. So make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching today.